Round 23, done and dusted for the New Zealand Warriors. Tough win over there on the Gold Coast, but great to get up over a resilient Titans team there in front of an outstanding Warriors contingent, racking it up like it was a home game on the Gold Coast. Let's take a look how this one played out. Hey team, welcome back to the Warriorholic. So we were hoping for a pretty clinical win there, but in the end we said we'd take 2 points no matter how we got them, and the boys got it done. Boy, you have to give it to the Titans. They came out passionate, fired up, full of intensity. They really took it to us, particularly in that first half. Really put us off our game at times, and the physicality and the little niggly stuff there got us a little bit fired up and kind of made us sort of lose our minds a bit at times and not play as succinct as I think we would have liked. So let's take a bit of a look how the whole game played out, who went well, who didn't. First up, looking at the Titans. Big out for them losing AJ Brimson right before kickoff there, meaning that Campbell had to come into fullback. You don't lose too much with Campbell coming in. He's an outstanding player, and he's the kind of guy you actually want out there for 80 minutes. But to lose a guy like Brimson is a big out. The guy's full of intensity, state of origin level, so they're a little bit on the back foot there coming into the kickoff. But you've got to give it to them for their game plan they must have devised. Get really niggly. We saw Cam Pereira there pulling old Dallin's hair 2 or 3 times to piss him off. Fafita there getting really niggly in the tackle. And unfortunately, the Warriors tended to respond a bit, probably more than we would have liked. So, I guess the strategy worked, but they got a little bit too physical there with Mo Fotuaika putting a shoulder to Charnes's head there 17 minutes in. Gone for the rest of the game, and they were pretty lucky not to lose Randall for another, at least 10 minutes for the shot he put on Dallin. Clearly a shoulder right to the jaw, so it's really hard to understand what's going on with the consistency here. I think Fotuaika's one was clearly at least a yellow card and probably worthy of a red, but, I said before the game all I wanted was for the refs not to decide the outcome. To a certain extent, I think the inconsistency did. And it wasn't just against us, that was a pretty tough call for them. But then you see Marata get a palm to the face, and he responds with a lighter slap to Fafita's face, and he's off for 10. So, I think the ref lost kind of control of the game there for a while, and was a bit disappointing. Solid players from them, I thought 4, and Wiley Fox, he stood up again, really resilient on defence, made some outstanding tackles, great pressure on our kickers, pressure on SJ there at times. I thought Aaron Clark had an outstanding game. He actually showed a lot more than I thought he was capable of in the middle there at 13. Mentioned it before the game. I wouldn't mind him finding his way to the Warriors as one of our bench props. I think he's got a lot to offer there, and I think he'd fit our game plan pretty well. No idea about his contractual status, but I do like him. Campbell at the back, outstanding. He's right up there with one of the most exciting attacking fullbacks in the game at the moment for a slight guy. He plays beyond his weight, so he did really, really well. I thought Boyd was pretty solid in the halves there. To take that hit and it looked like he dislocated his shoulder or done an AC joint or something, but to get up, play that ball really, really quickly and allow them to get the ball away for that. I think it was their last try. But then to play on, kicked really, really well. So, credit to him. I thought Fafita did well once Mo Fotuaika went off. He's not a guy noted for getting in there and doing the hard yards, but I thought he did. He came into the middle a lot, put in a lot of effort. Like I said, he was pretty niggly with our guys and, kind of put near caught off his game at times. But I thought Rocco Berry did a really good job to control him and Kelly out on their left edge there. They got very little ball, particularly clean ball. We saw the one break there that Cam Pereira got. Unfortunately, Kelly got his hand to it. Otherwise, that would have been a try. So I think we did really, really well to contain their biggest attacking assets over that side. So from our perspective there, I thought, we were a little bit rusty. We weren't quite in sync, and losing Charnes early really impacted on our attack. I thought Tuaupiki had a really, really good game, but you could just see, his little pop-on passes, guys were overrunning each other. I think some of the drop balls were, from passes that shouldn't have been given. Loss in contact, but you've got to give it half of that up to the Titans. They hit really, really well right on the ball carrying arm and set a few balls free there. So while we were a bit messy, particularly in the first half, I thought we came back really well, and SJ just put on a clinic in the back end of the second half to close it out. with the getting the repeat sets here, putting the ball right down in their corner. Our kick chase was outstanding again. So while it looked a lot more messy live, when I went back and watched it the second time, there were a lot of good things to like about it. Again, I think we got a little bit too impatient. Going up against 12 guys, I think we were wanting to try and get those points on too early. But similar to that game against the Raiders, we have to be a little bit more patient, let it build up. Fatigue them with those repeat sets, and eventually the space will come, and we saw that through an outstanding kicking game from SJ, or Tohu getting put through holes. So that's something we really need to work on over the next couple of weeks before we get into the finals. We've got to be patient because we're not going to get those easy tries. That said, again, it was really good to get those 2 points. And I think the crowd over there was, played a big part in that. The Warriors' chance clearly outweighing the Gold Coast, and you hear the boos there, which was apparently every time the announcer or ground announcer tried to rack up the Titans fan, the Warriors fans were giving them a boo. I don't know if I like the booing, but I love the fact that we made a lot of noise. So well done to those who turned up and flew the flag for us. Right, let's have a bit of a look at the game breakdown here. First, the team stats, 28-18 to us. 10 points win, that helps our for and against. I think that takes us to a plus 121 now. That's pretty good, especially if the good old Broncos can lose this weekend. Tries, 3 to them, 5 to us. David Fafita, Stimson and Campbell for them. And for us, Johnson with a double. Ford with a really good try there again. Tohu Harris with his first for the season, and Dallin adds to his ever continuing to expand try tally there, up to I think it's 17 now. Only about 3 behind the leaders, so you never know, with a couple of big scoring games, he could get close to being the highest try scorer of the season. Possession stakes. We're gonna, as we go through this, you'll see like before the game, the stats are very even, just like they were coming into the game. 46-54 as far as percentage went. I guess those repeat sets towards the end of the second half there kind of got us out a little. Otherwise, it was pretty even. Time in possession, we had 4.5 minutes more. Not a huge amount there. Their completion rate, they've been up over 90 over the past couple of weeks. They were down at 86, but that's still a really good completion rate. Only 5 incomplete sets there, whereas 12 incomplete sets for us, down at 71% is really not what we want. But I think a lot of those were kind of unforced errors through, I don't know, again, like lack of patience, pushing passes. I'd really like to see that as a key work on for us going into the, I think it's the Tigers next, being a lot more clinical, not rushing things, not putting the receiver in a worse position, and let's get that completion rate up around the 90 mark, because that's got what we're going to need when we make the finals. Attacking here, pretty even. We had 196 runs for their 159. Running meters, we had what do we have there, around 400 more running meters, and I think a lot of that came from our kick return. We'll see that in a minute. Line breaks, we had 7 versus their 4, which is really good. Pereira usually has about 3 line breaks a game by himself, so to contain them was really good. Tackle breaks, 35 versus 41, won that stat, which is nice. Average distance per set, another 4 meters for us. That showed we were pretty dominant in the middle, but again, up against the 12-man squad. But yeah, kick return meters here is a big differentiation for me. 168 for us versus 74 for them. That's a real credit to Tuaupiki and Chance before he went off. Really, really solid returns there. Average play, the ball speed, almost identical, 3.7. Not the fastest we've had all season. Offloads, was good to see us. We're having more offloads there than the opposition for once, with 9 for us versus 7. I didn't notice too many of them during the game, but obviously there were a few well-placed ones. Tackle efficiency, 86.3 versus 85.4. Total tackles made, 345 for them versus 296 for us. So it's good to see that they had to make more tackles than us. Missed tackles, obviously, with making all those more tackles, they made 6 more missed tackles than us. Intercept, that was pretty annoying when Ford gave that one up, which led to a try. Ineffective tackles, 18 versus 12. Negative plays, here we go again, mate. Up into the double figures, 12 errors for us versus 7 for them. We've got to get that down, around the 6. We can't be up in the double figures. That's just giving too much ball to the opposition. Penalties conceded, pretty even there, 6 versus 5. I think there could have been a lot more for some of that grubby shit, but hey, we won the game, so we won't get too stuck into the refs. Ruck infringements, we didn't give away any, which was good, so 2 to them, and inside the 10, 1 each. plus the one red card and one yellow card for each team. Interestingly, I think we only used 7 of our interchanges versus their 8, so we still had a bit to spare there playing those guys in the first half for really, really long minutes with such a stop-start game. Right, let's get into the individuals here. I am going to give Chance a rating. He's only out there for 17 minutes, but that was 17 quality minutes again. I think that's one of the reasons we sort of dropped off. Getting Tuaupiki to kind of sync up with our attack. They're 2 very, very different players, and I have a lot of time for Tuaupiki, and I've given him a pretty solid rating, but I just, Chance giving him a 7, I think, some people say that's probably too much for 17, but I'd like to have given him more because he's just faultless. So strong at the back, so sound, so annoying for him to get a second big concussion of the year with a couple of lighter ones. 78 metres run in 17 minutes, 18 post contact, 100% tackle efficiency. Granted, I think he only made 1 and 1 tackle break. We're going to miss him next week, but I think it's a really good chance to give Tuaupiki some time, a couple of weeks in a row there to build up that, those combinations and get those pop passes working. I just really like the way he comes in there, but we just saw that lack of continuity once he came in. So yeah, good luck to Chance with his recovery. I hope he's not too bad. So then on to Tuaupiki, 63 minutes. I think it was his 3rd game or 2nd game. I gave him 8 out of 10. Look, a lot of people rated him in their top 3 for the points for the Warriors, and if it wasn't for those couple of sort of push passes that went down, I think you go close to giving the boy a 9 coming into that situation. 165 running meters there, 36 post, 83% tackle efficiency, and he did come up with some big ones, and 6 tackle breaks. I've always said he reminds me a lot of the way, actually kind of similar to Campbell, but similar to a smaller version of Walsh. Very, very quick acceleration, lightning speed through that ruck, and the step on him to get through some of those forwards. So for a small man, he does really, really well. And we saw, like in the Quick Q Cup last year, he had the most tackle breaks of the whole competition. So with a bit more time, who knows? I think he could really start to shine at fullback there, but. Chance, as soon as he's right, will be straight back in, but it's just good to have that extra cover, and we were really, really lucky to have him at 18th man there to come on. Dallin, look, he didn't really do anything wrong. I just think because we didn't have our greatest game, I couldn't give too many guys really high scores, but 8 out of 10, there's honestly not much more you could do from his perspective, particularly his, being the second hit up after Montoya, getting up there in dummy half and running out of dummy half and getting those extra few metres. The effort was outstanding. Clinical whenever he got those opportunities to score. It's a shame that we had the, I think it was AFB or someone got caught up in the line there. So he got his first try disallowed. 3 tackle breaks, 1 try and 1 try assist. So again, a pretty solid effort from the big fella. Really syncing up well again with Berry there with the kick chase as well. So Montoya, one of the best games I've seen from him for a while actually. I think he ran with a lot more intensity. We saw him get that fend going, 7 tackle breaks. He had a real impact on that game. He was hungry, got in there for that first hit up off our line all the time after our kick receives almost every time and made post-contact meters and sucked in a couple of penalties. 7 tackle breaks, 100% tackle efficiency again. We haven't seen that from him for a while. And 14 runs in total. So yeah, solid 8.5. I'm really glad to see that he can continue to show that energy. He's played every game this season, so must show that he's pretty bloody fit. You very rarely see him with his hands on his knees. So keep that up over the next few weeks, Monty. Rocco Berry. I gave him an 8. Interesting, like only 43 running meters. I think we can clearly see that his role is quite defensive. Probably the reason he's not making as many big hit-ups off the line must be that they're saving him to have the energy in his legs for the kick chase. He gets in there and does his runs, but not as much as the other guys. So only the 43 metres there. 16 tackles. By far the most of the outside backs. Most of those guys are making sort of between 3 and 4, maybe 5 a game, whereas he's out there making 16. And that's, he's always the first man up there to take the first tackle from the kick chase. He'll take the second one. His leg tackles are just, I don't know, going about it all the time, but the amount of times we saw them shift to the left, he held off, he kind of slightly engaged with the man like it could have been for Fifita, but then when the ball went on, he was able to slip off, turn around and still get Kelly in a legs tackle, or slip off Kelly and get Cam Pereira. Just outstanding on defence. He had a couple of times there that he just took Fifita one-on-one and put him on his ass. So I think he's definitely one for the future. I'm going to keep harping on about him. Just the one tackle break, but he's just getting more and more solid, more and more confident every week. You can see why Webby likes him out there. Pompey, again, another one of his best games that I've seen from him this season as well. I gave him an 8. Could have probably given him an 8.5 actually. 114 metres, his most running metres so far this season. I think, it's not often he's been up over 100, but I really thought that he was hitting the line harder than he has done for a while. He was getting in there earlier, taking more hit-ups. 3 tackle breaks there, 100% tackle efficiency with just the 4 tackles made. So it's kind of interesting to see that amount of traffic that went down our right side or their left-hand side compared to what Pompey had to deal with. And the one line break there, that was a great step he put on. I'm not sure it was either centre or the back rower there to almost get through for the try. So I think, he's starting to show that confidence that the club's, put the faith in him to be re-signed. It's going to be interesting to see next year who ends up taking that spot when RTS comes back and who's going to partner him. Luke Metcalf, I gave him a 7. I feel like he's still struggling to really get his timing right. He's struggling to unleash that left-hand edge of ours in the way that Tamati Martin was. You can see that by there's been a lot of drop down in the amount of tries that Montoya's getting. I know our right-hand side is going really, really well, but I just feel like Metcalf, he needs to get that sync going a little bit more, get the timing right when he does run and when he doesn't. Quite often he'll step back in and just get caught there and waste a play when we're in their attacking zone. That said, his support play, it was a shame that Dylan Walker just lost his footing there, which meant Metcalf was one step ahead of him when he took that forward pass. His speed and that ability to follow up off Ian out of dummy half, he's definitely a weapon, but we just got to get that timing right a little bit more. If we can start getting the same level of attacking potency on our left as we do on our right, it's going to be very, very difficult for teams to contend with us. 100 metres run, 10 runs in total there is a pretty good workload. Only the 8 tackles this week, which is down on what he's been up around the 20 mark over the past couple of weeks. 3 tackle breaks, 1 line break, and 1 line break assist. So he's been productive, put in a couple of good little kicks here as well. But again, still got to just get that little bit of cohesiveness with his side there. Sean Johnson, man, I felt like he was a little bit off in the first half. His kicking wasn't ideal. But then I heard after the game that he's actually been really crook with the same flu that Chance had against the Sharks and Tohu had earlier on there, that's just been going through the team for the past couple of weeks. So given that he was not feeling well, you can kind of understand that. It was kind of interesting. I felt like, man, why did you have a shave? You've been playing so well with the neck beard, but I don't know, superstitions. I gave him a 9. 4 out of 5 with the goal kicking there, 16 points with his 2 tries, 61 running metres, tackle efficiency of 77.4, 24 tackles made, and a lot of those on Fifita. Managed to stop him. He's definitely stepping up there. Like I said, 2 tries, and also with the 2 try assists, continues to show his maturity. The way he was able to get control of that game in the second half, get those repeat sets, 21 repeat sets, I think that's the most in the comp at the moment. The kick that bounced up nicely for Dallin to score, really got it on a string. Let's hope that he can get it going from the kickoff next week. But another 9 out of 10 performance for me, for probably got 80% of the votes for 3 points for the Warriors. So you're assuming that he probably took some pretty solid points again for the Daily M's. He's got to be leading it with the likes of Payne Haas, missing a few games, same as Cleary missing a few games. The big man, Adam Fanua-Blake, another 9 out of 10 performance. What more could you ask for the man? 54 minutes. He played almost, I Did he play the whole first half? Came close to it. Some big minutes there. 169 metres again. 80 post-contact metres. Again, more post-contact metres than a lot of forwards got in total metres. Tackle efficiency of 95.5% at 22 tackles in the middle there. 5 tackle breaks. He's just a machine. He never seems to look tired. He looks like he could play 80 minutes every week if you asked him to. I just don't think any prop that we've come up against this season's been able to get one up over him. So I'm really curious to see if we come up against the Broncos in that first sort of semi with second playing third, how he goes up against Payne Haas. I reckon he's got every bloody opportunity in the world to dominate him as well. Mitch Barnett, I gave him an 8. I thought he played outstandingly. Again, he's just one of those, because of the way the game went, I don't think there's anything I've really blamed him for, but he just didn't quite contribute to the same level as Adam, but still outstanding. 61 minutes for 153 metres, 64 post-contact metres. For a guy who's not huge at prop, he makes that line bend every time, full of intensity. His line speed on defence is outstanding. 16 hit-ups. 87% tackle efficiency and 30 tackles made. Another sort of, Barnett-like performance, and we want to continue to see that as we go forward. And I think he did step up really well there in that first stint there as the opening prop, so I think we're likely to see that continue. Wade Egan. I thought he sort of struggled to really get into the game a little bit in the first half because they were all over him. Obviously, he was high up on their list of people they were watching during their analysis of what the Warriors have been doing, but he just let loose in the second half, and the width of his pass, the time he was giving SJ, the timing of the pass to Tohu Harris, another outstanding game. Running out of dummy half, what did we get there? Played 80 minutes, gave him a 9 out of 10. But 85 metres run is up there with some of his best metres so far this season, and he managed to link up a couple of times. A couple of times if he had just had someone on the inside there, could have led to tries. But 91.9% tackle efficiency with 34 tackles made over 80 minutes in that heat. Outstanding. 2 line break assists, 1 try assist. Stay safe, mate. We need you there. Watching Lussick there playing in the Cup game today. He had a good game, but there's just a different level there with Egan at the moment, so we've got to keep him safe and fit for the finals. Jackson Ford, again, one of his best games that we've seen this season. His effort areas, the amount of ground he covers. Granted he had a couple of errors in contact, but again, I think that was really good tackling technique on the opposition's perspective. From the opposition's perspective, that silly pass on our line that was intercepted by Campbell. We don't want those sort of things happening, but you just can't question his effort and his energy. Great to see him get a try there. 80 minutes again, he looks like he could play like 2 games in a row. His most metres, I think, he's run all season there of 158 and 58 post-contact metres. That's, genuine middle kind of metres there. 90% tackle efficiency for 36 tackles again. Absolute machine. And a lot of those are scrambling tackles too. 6 tackle breaks and 1 line break and 1 try. Marata Niakore. Look, I think he played well, but I marked him down for just, it wasn't sin bin worthy, but he's got to learn to control that aggression. So I gave him a 6.5. Had he not been put in the bin for 10 minutes, which did cost us with points scored against us while he was off, I probably would have given him about a 7.5 because he was running bloody hard. Interesting though, only 73 metres, which kind of surprised me with the intensity he was running at. And only the 19 tackles, 86.3. I didn't realise he was off for as long as he must have been given another 20 or 30 minute spell there. I didn't even realise he'd gone off probably when Curran came on. So not huge minutes, and if you double those stats, it's a pretty solid effort. But yeah, just got to control that aggression, bro. We've got to keep you on the field because you do make a huge impact. And the boss, again, another 9. Shit. When does he ever have a bad game? That the game where he was crook and only played like 30-odd minutes or something, he didn't play a bad game, but his impact was slightly less than normal. But his bad game's an 8.5. And I struggle not to give him more than 9. 72 minutes played when we had so many forwards on the bench just shows the impact that they see from him and the need to have him out there to keep things under control. 142 metres, 14 hit-ups, 36 tackles at 81.9%, 2 tackle breaks and a try. The big man's off the nudie run. Great to see, and it was great to see the passion from himself when he scored and from the boys coming in there to give him a pat on the back. So captain courageous, pretty close to man of the match for me. Dylan Walker, another outstanding effort off the bench there. He continues to make a massive impact every time he comes on. I gave him an 8. I don't think it was quite up there with his best, but that break he made off the Egan pass there, shit, if he'd just passed it right to SJ, that could have been another try. But I'd say 8 out of 10 performance. 30 minutes there for 109 metres in 30 minutes. 81.8% tackle efficiency, 18 tackles in 30 minutes. 1 tackle break, 1 line break, and 1 line break assist. Got to keep him safe as well. I think he's one of probably our most impactful player off the bench there. So keep it up, big Phillip. Bailey Sirenen, I gave him a 6 because he only played 9 minutes. I guess he was just really there for mostly for cover for Egan, or if someone gets injured, we had to play sort of with 3 forward reserves or something. But he came on, hit with intent. Once he was out there, you could feel his presence, which was good. But only the 26 metres, only the 5 tackles, 83.3. So can't give him much more than a 6 for that. Josh Curran, he only got 21 minutes. I gave him a 6.5. I felt his presence when he's out there, and I was quite surprised when I looked at his stats that they weren't all that high. Only running for 47 metres there. I guess, again, if you times that by 3, that's a pretty solid effort. 76.4% tackle efficiency with 13 tackles. Not bad. And 1 tackle break. I guess it's a reflection that things didn't really change when he came on, but I did feel his presence. So, 6.5 for him today. And similarly with Jazz, I was really, really excited to see him back. First time in about 10 weeks, I guess it's been. I gave him a 6.5, 21 minutes played for 47 metres, but 17 tackles there at 94% efficiency. That's where I think you see his effort when he comes on is on defence. He does a lot of tackling. He's, often the guy will come in and someone sort of caught the guy in a tackle, and he's the guy will come in and smash them under the ribs, put them on their ass. Really good run there to lead up to the try where we went wide. SJ got the break after fending off a feeder and then gave it to Dallin and then back inside to SJ. That was off the back of a really strong run for Jazz, about 15 metres with a really fast play of the ball. He almost got a try there when we were right on their line and the ball popped up into Berry's hands and he passed the ball to Jazz flat-footed. He almost took 3 guys over the line. So he's definitely showed the signs of why you want him there. He has more impact than Bunty, I feel, particularly for a first game back in in the heat after 10 weeks off. So I look for him to continue to progress. But my favourite Warrior of all time. I love the heart, love the passion. So I'm so stoked to have him back. And congratulations to him for getting through that really tough rehab. So all in all, how do we wrap it up? Like I said, we're happy to take the 2 points. Scrappy at times, but very clinical at times. I think when we decided to play, high percentage footy in the back quarter there, put it into their corners, put it into their in goal, get those repeat sets, we showed how good we are. I thought our defence was really good all night against one of the best attacking edges in the comp to only let that 1 try for feeder. The one to Campbell there was, how often does that end up happening and ball popping up like that? I think we probably left 3 or 4 tries out there, so it could have been a very different outcome. But you often see that when a team's up against 12 players, they just try a little bit too hard to put things away too early. But like I said, big ups to the Titans. They brought it. It's a shame they sort of started their run a little bit late in the season because, you can see how good they're going to be. Imagine after having old Uncle Des in there at an off-season who'll have them fit and playing pretty hard. You never know, they might pick up someone like Hunt over the off-season, which might take them to the next level. A lot of really good young players, so well done to them. But I'm happy with our boys. I'm glad we got it done. I'm proud of the crowd for getting up there and making a lot of noise. Hearing them sing the team song over there just like they do at Mount Smart gives me chills. Can't wait to get up there for the Manly game. That's the next one I'm going to be able to get to. I'm still a couple of weeks away. In the meantime, that's it for me, team. Enjoy the rest of the weekend's footy, and we'll see you next week with a preview of the Tigers game. Let's go the Warriors.